The big reveal, a secret we are all missing. Let me tell you a little secret that goes against everything you see online. If someone is constantly flashing their Lamborghini, their Rolex, or their private jet on Instagram, there's a strong chance they aren't actually rich. They're probably in a mountain of debt, living in a state of deep denial, or just one bad day away from serious financial trouble. The real truth? The guy you barely even notice walking down the street, blending in with the crowd, is secretly making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. Meanwhile, most of us are still trying to decide if we can afford that extra guacamole at Chipotle. Why is this the case? It's simple. The genuinely wealthy, the ultra-rich, don't broadcast their income. They don't need to. They hide it behind a sophisticated web of businesses, trusts, and assets you've likely never even heard of. They've mastered a different game, a quiet, invisible game of wealth accumulation. The blueprint, uncovering the truth. Today, we are going to expose their playbook. These are the 7 quiet income streams the ultra-rich never talk about. By the end of this video, you won't just understand their game. You'll have a blueprint for how to start copying it yourself, without needing to win the lottery or risk your life savings on some overhyped crypto coin. So, let's stop playing small and dive into their world. 1. Private lending. Become the bank. While you're at the mercy of your bank, begging for a slightly better credit card limit or a lower mortgage rate, the ultra-rich are the bank. Instead of letting their cash sit in a savings account earning a near-zero interest rate, they deploy it strategically. They lend it out privately, creating a powerful, invisible income stream. Think of it this way: real estate investors, ambitious startup founders, or business owners with terrible credit but great cash flow often need capital fast. They bypass the slow, bureaucratic traditional banks and turn to private lenders. The ultra-rich step in, lending money at a robust 8 to 15% interest rate, all secured by tangible assets. This is all done with zero public record. Let's imagine a scenario. John wants to flip a property but needs $250,000, fast. You, the private lender, say, "Sure, John. I'll lend you $250,000 at 10% interest, secured directly against the house." John agrees. 6 months later, you've quietly made $25,000 while sipping a latte on your porch. No office, no employees, no boss. Just quiet, consistent cash flow. 2. Asset leasing. Get paid to own. You know what's even cooler than owning something? Getting paid for letting someone else use it. While most people rent luxury items on the weekend to look rich, a fancy car, an exotic Airbnb, expensive camera gear, the ultra-rich are on the other side of that transaction. They lease their assets. And this isn't just about Teslas and yachts, though those are definitely part of the game. We're talking about heavy equipment, specialized tools, commercial spaces, and even intellectual property licenses. Let's break it down. A wealthy individual owns a large warehouse. Instead of trying to find a long-term tenant, he leases it out for short-term projects like product storage, drone testing, or event setups. He makes more from partial, high-demand usage than if he had leased it full-time. Or consider someone who owns a $200,000 excavator. Instead of letting it sit idle, they rent it out for $1,000 a day to construction crews. The same principle applies to luxury vehicles. Lease a G-Wagon for $250 a day to an influencer pretending they own it. Boom. Quiet income. Zero effort. 3. Infinite banking. A bank of your own. This one might sound like a scheme, but it's a very real and very powerful strategy. The ultra-rich use high cash value whole life insurance policies, not primarily to protect their life, but to leverage their money. It's a completely legal way to act as your own bank. Here's a simplified version of how it works. You open one of these specialized insurance policies and heavily fund it upfront, sometimes with $50,000 or more per year. That cash value grows at a guaranteed, tax-free rate, typically between 4% and 6%. But here's the clever part. You can borrow against that cash value at any time, and the original policy keeps growing as if the money is still in there. Essentially, you've created a tax-free savings account you can borrow from like a bank, without selling your assets or triggering capital gains taxes. The ultra-rich use this to fund their businesses, buy real estate, legally pay zero taxes, and even self-finance luxury cars. It's a financial system built for control and long-term wealth. 4. Licensing intellectual property. Trading ideas for infinite paydays. Forget the old model of trading your time for money. The ultra-rich trade ideas for infinite paydays. They understand the power of creating something once and then selling the right to use it over and over again. Think of it like Disney. Do you think they just sell movies? Not really. Disney licenses their characters to lunchboxes, t-shirts, Halloween costumes, and even toothbrushes. The rich do the exact same thing on a smaller, more personal scale. A doctor creates a unique patient intake form. A coder builds a specialized back-end dashboard. A coach designs a revolutionary goal-setting workbook. They then license that creation to other professionals, businesses, or agencies for a monthly fee or a large upfront payment. They collect cash without ever needing to talk to the buyer again. Now, imagine multiplying that by 1,000 buyers. That's quiet, scalable, royalty-style income that requires zero ongoing work. 5. Syndicated real estate deals. Invest like a pro. Okay, picture this. A 200-unit apartment complex goes up for sale with a price tag of $18 million. You're probably thinking, great, let me just check my wallet, a Chipotle receipt and a gum wrapper. But for the ultra-rich, this is where the real game begins. They don't buy that property alone. They form a real estate syndicate, a group of investors who pool their money together to buy massive assets. They raise capital from a network of other passive investors, hire a professional management team, and acquire the building. Their strategy is simple: raise rents, refinance, or sell the property in 5 to 7 years for a massive profit. As a syndicate investor, you can make a powerful 8 to 15% yearly return, plus a huge payday when the property is sold, without ever having to answer a single tenant complaint about a broken toilet. It's passive, it's powerful, and because these syndicates are private and under the radar, they attract less scrutiny. 6. Buying cash-flowing assets. Let your money do the work. You've heard the phrase, let your money work for you. The ultra-rich take this to an entirely different level by literally buying cash flow. They acquire the rights to existing revenue streams. For example, a musician has a hit song and earns $10,000 a month in royalties. But maybe they're tired of the music industry and want a large sum of cash right now. So, they sell the rights to those royalties to an investor for, say, $600,000. The investor now owns the royalty rights and collects the $10,000 a month. This is royalty investing. The rich use it for songs, books, TV shows, trademarks, and websites with consistent ad revenue. They don't stop there, though. They buy laundromats, car washes, billboard leases, ice vending machines, and even successful YouTube channels with consistent revenue. They buy once and get paid monthly. 7. The holding company, the ultimate shield. This is the boss level. The golden advice I want you to remember for the rest of your life. You've heard of companies and investments, but what you probably haven't heard of is the holding company, because no one talks about it. Here's how it works. Instead of owning assets directly, the ultra-rich create a holding company, like an LLC or a trust, to own everything for them. That means their real estate is owned by the holding company. Their stocks are held through it. Their cash flow businesses? Yep. Their intellectual property? Of course. Brand deals? Check. This way, they technically don't own anything personally, but they control everything. This structure shields their identity, protects their wealth from lawsuits, and legally reduces their tax burden. If one business fails, the rest of their wealth is untouched. The holding company is the quiet vault behind every flashy Instagram entrepreneur you don't know about. If you've ever seen someone lose it all overnight, they probably didn't have one. If you've ever seen someone never take a real loss, they definitely did. Final thoughts: the wealth playbook. So, now you know. These 7 income streams aren't flashy or viral. They don't come with clout, but they are quietly lethal. Let's recap. Be the bank with private assets lending you don't use. Bank on yourself with infinite banking. License your knowledge for royalties. Invest in syndicated real estate. Buy cash-flowing assets directly. Control everything with a holding company. If that feels like a lot to digest, good. It should. Because real wealth isn't built by scrolling Instagram, playing the lottery, or hoping your boss gives you a raise. It's built by playing the game the rich don't talk about. And now, you're holding the playbook. If you're done playing small, comment "I'm building wealth" below. We've created an entire step-by-step blueprint on how to do this. Just click the video on the screen, and we'll see you there.